A sitting leader has openly admitted that the nation's most powerful institutions are compromised, actively betraying the public trust they were built to uphold. J.D. Vance first gained national attention as a sharp critic of the populist right. In 2016, he viewed Donald Trump as a cynical figure, even privately questioning if Trump represented an existential threat on the level of America's Hitler. By 2024, that perspective had shifted. Vance stood at the center of the Republican National Convention as the vice presidential nominee. This pivot was more than a change in strategy. It was a realization that the experts and institutions he once defended were being weaponized against the citizens they were meant to protect. Like many Americans, Vance originally believed that military and scientific leaders operated with a high level of wisdom and objective truth. That belief fractured during the build-up to the Iraq War. The official justifications for the invasion eventually collapsed under the weight of the chaotic and mismanaged reality soldiers encountered on the ground. Decades without a definitive military victory suggested that these institutions had become sclerotic, serving their own interests rather than the nation's. This led to an institutional metamorphosis. If the systems meant to lead a society rely on deception to function, dismantling them from the inside becomes a logical necessity. The current frontier of institutional control is moving towards artificial intelligence, managed by a small group of megacorporations. Mainstream discussions often focus on a hypothetical future of mass joblessness or a robotic labor force. A more immediate shift is the concentration of power. AI allows elites to accumulate vast wealth, while the working class sees their economic mobility stagnate. This centralization of data and power creates a framework for communist AI, a system where corporate monopolies and government entities use technology to exert total control over individual behavior. This infrastructure enables a social credit system. It tracks individual habits and associations to generate a score that reflects political and social compliance. This scoring system restricts personal sovereignty, cutting off resources and opportunities based on an individual's alignment with corporate interests. This is the new surveillance credential. AI is currently being used to build a digital cage, ensuring that the public remains subservient to tech elites who operate without accountability. This pressure is also visible in the physical world, where the social contract is fraying in local neighborhoods. Rapid demographic shifts and unchecked immigration create a mathematical friction point, changing the character of communities faster than social integration can occur. While elites enact these policies, they remain physically insulated from the fallout behind gates and concentrated wealth. These physical barriers illustrate the sharp division in how modern border policies are experienced. Citizens in decaying industrial towns are left to absorb the cultural chaos and economic strain of these shifts on their own. By abandoning their civic obligations to the working class, the state is performing a final liquidation of the social contract. Modern political division is the engineered result of a leadership class that has decided to walk away from its foundational duties. This breakdown of trust has a measurable, catastrophic effect on national stability. Following national tragedies in the past, Americans felt a profound sense of civic duty and shared identity. Data from the early 2000s indicates that roughly 70% of young Americans were willing to fight for their country. After years of institutional lies and failed wars, that number has reached historic lows. A nation cannot draw from a patriotic reservoir that its own leaders have drained through decades of deceit. The system has been hollowed out. It leaves the public economically distressed and socially fractured. State failures in the physical world have converged with the digital threat of the new tech monopolies. The core function of these institutions has changed. They now operate primarily to manage, surveil, and contain the population. Acknowledging this reality is the only way to begin rebuilding what has been lost. Subscribe to the CEO Brief and comment your raw truth below.